Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what's going to be hopefully a not too long video. I thought I'd just do it as a live stream today because just makes it easier sometimes. And I haven't done a sales video for a while, so we thought I'd pop on and just do like a what sold in June video. So I'm just going to live stream. If you've got any questions in the chat and stuff, I'll be happy to answer those as well to the best of my ability. And we're just going to talk about 15 items that we have sold so far in the month of June. Month of June has been a pretty crazy one. We started off really strongly. Started off very strongly on the store that I'm going to talk about, the general store. Going forward, we don't really tend to talk much about the radio control car store because it's not really relatable to a lot of people, just a bunch of RC parts. So this store is much more relatable because it's to do with going out and finding one-off items and things like that, and you know, car boots, charity shops, and then selling them for profit. And we started off very strongly in, like I said, in June. The first week of June was fantastic, and we thought, okay, things are kicking in nicely. And then we had a big drought, literally a solid week of no interest at all. But then things have kind of sputtered back into some kind of life recently. But either way, we've not done a sales video on this channel for a couple of weeks, so there should be some sales here that you may not have seen. I'll pop into the chat and say hello. We've got some fantastic people in the chat. Laura Eccleston Siebel says hi. Pete's Retro Collectibles, Crispy, Richard Payne, Vintage Vandal, BCP, the legendary bum crack picker, thank you for popping in. DMH Products, John B. Dave says, looks like your room is starting to look like how it used to be, messy. Yeah, there's a bit of junk on that desk that needs clearing. It's still a lot tidier. That's all my PC boxes that I used to build this PC that I'm using. But yes, it's much tidier than it used to be though, Dave. Daryl says hi Daryl. Deal City as well. Paul Calvert. Hi Z, I noticed you changed the name of your RC store. Yes, we changed the name to to Only Cool RC because Rap God for the Win doesn't quite get across what we sell. I find that it can be confusing and a little bit disjointed. I do like the name Rap God for the Win, but unfortunately I just didn't feel it was right. So there we go. MQ says hi as well. Hi there. Yes. All right. So without further ado, we'll get into some sales. Like I said, there's 15 items here that we've sold. And we'll get into that. Some of these you may have seen because we shared some of these in a live stream. Some of them you won't have done, but either way, it's a sales video. So not everyone watches the Friday chats that we do. So you may be able to catch what we have sold here instead. Right, let's just transfer across to the eBay screen. And we are going to share the first item, which is a Ted Baker Endurance beige wool suit. KLC Reselling, Louise has popped in. Hi there, Louise. Z has had a shave. Yes, I have. I get to a point where I need to. It needs to be done. Rebecca doesn't like it either. Well, she does, but to a certain extent. I think a business-like name is good, says Pete's Retro Collectibles. Yes, that's the other thing. We're obviously contacting wholesalers when it comes to RC as well. And you can't really contact a wholesaler and be like, hi there, I'm looking to open an account or I'm looking to buy this off you. Okay, what's your details? What's your business name? Rap God for the Win. It just doesn't, it's not going to quite work. It may do, but it makes me feel better having a more relevant name. Anyway, this is a Ted Baker Endurance beige wool suit. We paid £3 for this. It was a nice suit, decent size, waist 38, leg 34. It was originally up at £80, on sale at 63, and we did we took an offer basically of £50 for this suit. So we didn't get $63.99, £50, and it was out of the door. So that's the first item I want to share. Especially as I read FTW as something else. So Z was waiting for Beck's Stitch and Bitch and get you on instead. Sorry to disappoint Pleasant Valley. Beck is knackered. She's absolutely cream crackered. busy day today. She's been up early, work, and then working in the office, and she did not have the energy actually to come on. She wanted to, she really did, but she's actually chilling on the sofa at the moment. Next item, this is quite a cool pickup. This is a men's Guess khaki floral accent long sleeve shirt with Pamuk cotton, Pam UK or Pamuk, I don't know how to pronounce it. Nice little shirt. I picked this up because it just looked nice, because it had like the little floral design on it. I thought it looked cool. Guess is a brand that I was more made aware of because of like ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky, like the rapper slash fashion icon, has made Guess clothing very popular. If you buy certain items of Guess brand clothing, they will go for silly money if it's similar or like some of the clothing that ASAP Rocky has worn. If you don't know who ASAP Rocky is, Google him. He's like a rapper. He's made some pretty cool songs. So worth checking out. So this is the Guess shirt. This isn't something he's ever worn in any of his music videos or on his Instagram or anything or whatever, but it's still a good brand, and paid I think £1.50 for this shirt, and we got the asking of 15 plus shipping. Let me just pop back into the chat. There's a few questions coming in. Right. Southwest Sellers says, anybody not watching Friday's comedy hour should be taken around the corner and shot. That's very kind of you to say, Southwest Sellers. Appreciate the compliment. Is that because of what they would have endured on the Friday for watching it, or you're saying to, if they didn't watch it? So appreciate the compliment. Beck not on today. No, she's not on today. This is not Beck. No. Jay Burke, hi there. Darren asks, Z, how is the car? Did I miss the update? I didn't do like an update video for the car. The car is actually working again, but I was like, the mechanic did have like stern words with me. Like he was like, look, this can't happen again. If it does happen again, the car may not come back to life as it did. So there we go. So I've been warned, not to do this again. Make sure it's fine. But yeah, it's running absolutely wonderfully. You couldn't tell that it's been abused as badly as it has been. So let's get back onto the clothing and not just clothing, the sales for the month. And Barry says, the only wrapper I'm interested in is the one around my chocolate bar. That's not a bad way to be, Barry. I think that's fair enough. Not everyone likes the other kind of wrap, so that's understandable. All right, let me just transition back to the eBay screen. So this is another item we sold. This is a ladies Marks and Spencer's long leather jacket. This is actually an item we bought off our previous neighbors. Our previous neighbors were having like a clear out of some clothes that they hadn't worn for ages or at all in some cases. And we bought a bunch of their clothes for like £50, I think it was. And we did pretty well out of it. It took some time to sell. M&S isn't like super hot selling in all its styles. Some of their styles probably are, but some aren't. This jacket has hung around for eternity. We priced it quite high at £50 because it was very nice soft leather, really nice condition. It was barely worn and brand new. This thing would have cost a fair bit of money. And it is St. Michael's Marks and Spencer, UK size 12. It was a really nice leather jacket. We did hang on to it for ages. We, in the end, accepted an offer of £24 plus the $6.99 shipping. So we were pleased in the end to sell it. But we were hoping to get more, but we'd held on to it for more than long enough. And this is actually been stored in my cupboard, so I'm actually slowly getting some cupboard space back, which is fantastic. And I can actually hang my own clothes up rather than clothes that we're selling, which is good. Long live the car, says Darren K. PS oil. You don't abuse RC, right? Says Dave. No. Hey, Julie Halil, thank you for popping in. Andy says hi as well. Hi, Andy. Southwest says neighbours. Were they an elderly German couple? looks like a Flixco from Hello Hello. It does have a look about it, but no, they weren't. They were a lovely, lovely Yorkshire couple actually, and they're still local, but they've just moved. But yeah. All right, next item. This is a Mega Bloks bundle that I picked up at the car boot sale for £4, so very, very good pickup. I figured out that this item here, that green built thing there, was a Panther tank, I believe. No, sorry, Rhino tank. And I had a ton of little figures, over 60 of these little figures. So I just priced it according to what the different sets had sold for, and you can see in my title I actually put that it's over 60 figures, Rhino tank and the UNSC Firebase and more, whatever. Had it up at $129.99, and it was on Thingamajig at sale at $103.99, and I think we took an offer. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we took an offer of like £80 on it, maybe. I want to say, no, it was 90, I think. 80 or 90 pounds it was, the offer. So from £4, I was very pleased to flip that. So Mega Bloks isn't always a popular brand because obviously everyone wants to look out for Lego. And when people buy Lego job lots, they don't tend to be too pleased when their Lego turns out to be Mega Bloks or similar. But Mega Bloks Halo is worth looking out for. Some of the sets can be worth a lot of money, and like all these little Halo figures, some of them again can be worth some money, but yeah, from £4 to like 80 or 90 I think it was, I'm pretty pleased with. Moving on, now this is a shirt that I was extremely excited to have picked up. This was one of my first clothing pickups in recent times. Was it Julie Halil says, Z, that's amazing. Thank you, Julie. It was a nice little flip. I was pretty pleased, and Lisa has joined us. Hi, Lisa. So yeah, it was a nice little flip from £4 to 80 to 90. So Halo Mega Bloks worth looking out for. Now this shirt was something I was extremely excited to find when I found it, when I picked it up at the charity shop, and the reason is it's a vintage men's Pendleton wool shirt. And the reason why it excited me so much is I'm a big fan of watching Steve Rakin over in the USA. Rakin Profit, he used to be a very big clothing reseller on eBay. And he's kind of transitioned over into like motivational stuff, and he's doing very well on YouTube, and he runs lots of different like reselling style businesses. But he started off and gained a lot of popularity on YouTube when he was a clothing seller, and I used to just love his accent when he said Pendleton, and he used to talk about Pendleton the brand a lot. So when I saw this at the charity shop, I was very excited because I wasn't expecting to find it over here because it's an American brand. As you can see, the title is Vintage Men's Pendleton Red Green Plaid Check 100% wool shirt made in the USA. So the fact that it was made in the US as well was very exciting for me because it's like a proper vintage Pendleton shirt. So you can see, not the most inspiring design. It's the kind of design that I tend to like, as you can see from the shirt I'm wearing. I like these kind of dinner cloth style shirts, as Dave has put it in the chat. I like them. So I took as many nice photos as I could, folded it up, took a photo of the tag, which could have been a bit sharper, but there you can see, warranted to be Pendleton, Pendleton Woolen Mills, 100% virgin wool, pure virgin wool, made in USA. So I was really excited, and I listed it, I think at some point for 35 or 40 pounds. I think then it was on 30 for ages. It had a lot of watches. I think it had picked up at least 12 to 15 watches, a lot of page views, and it just wasn't selling. So I was getting quite disheartened. I actually used the offers to watcher feature. I'd only paid £1.50 for this shirt. So from £1.50 to 30 would have been fantastic, but unfortunately there wasn't any takers at that price, and I actually used the eBay offers to watcher feature, and I sent out an offer of £20, which someone accepted. So I was still pleased from £1.50 to 20, but I was hoping I would have gotten more than 20 for a made in America shirt, because obviously when things are made in America, when things are made in England, they tend to have more value because the cost of creating them is that much higher than these shirts being created out in Asia, for example. So in the end, we accepted £20 plus the £3.49 shipping. Lisa says, hit the like button, please, folks. Yeah, if you enjoy the video, please do. Gary says, covers the kebab sauce stains. There's no kebab sauce stains. And Rebecca actually had to do a little knitting, sewing job for me because one of the sleeve buttons was missing. So I had to sort that out. Kebab time, and we are back on fast food, says Joe. No, I didn't have any kebab today. My kebab shop's closed on a Tuesday, which really bothers me. This is an item that some of you will definitely have seen because I have shared it in the Friday chat, and I made a video about it. This was a Iowa stereo that we bought from the car boot sale for £15. This stereo was absolutely covered in I think it's tar. Is it? I don't know what it is. Is it tar? I don't know. Someone was, whoever had it was a heavy smoker, and it looked champagne gold. Had to give it a good clean up, a good wipe down. And now I've seen this very stereo sell on eBay for a lot less. Sometimes with the mini disc, sometimes without. We had the mini disc attachment. So when you're looking at a stereo system, if you see one which has a mini disc, it's worth doing a bit of research on it, because mini disc recorder / players in an integrated hi-fi will add value. Most hi-fis will obviously come with a radio, a CD player, sometimes a cassette. That is very common. That is very bog standard. If you have a mini disc deck with it, worth doing a little bit of research just in case it has extra value. I've seen this system sell without mini disc for as little as like £30-40 on eBay. With mini disc, I've seen it sell for about that as well sometimes. But I cleaned this up completely, and it was nicotine, says BCP. The Truth has got a hashtag, free Beck from hard labour, let Z pay for his own wig glue. It's not a wig. This is completely legit. The Truth, this is completely legit. Anyway, we paid 15. We priced it high at £180, and we actually sold it for £140 plus £50 shipping, and it went to Spain. And we have received positive feedback from the buyer because they received it very quickly. They received it well shipped. And the beauty of it is we only paid £23 for our shipping to Spain. So we charge 50, which is great because obviously eBay take your 10%. Plus you need to be sure, so it's well worth it. So there we go. Lisa says, made homemade leek and potato soup for lunch and veg casserole for dinner. Sounds very healthy. And you've dropped 3 stones in weight and reversed your type 2 diabetes. That is fantastic, Lisa. Congratulations. You should be very, very proud of yourself. That is really impressive. And there we go. Let's move on to the next item. This is another item that has sold internationally. This is a pair of Hein Garrick biker trousers. So these are like padded trousers. Always worth looking out for this brand. They're a very popular brand, very well-known brand. Some of their stuff is worth significantly more than this, depending on the materials used. So this is a Hein Garrick pair of motorbike trousers. Now, if you find one which has got Gore-Tex material and some other materials, your selling price will go up. We paid like, I think £3 for this pair of trousers. We had it listed at 50. And again, we had watches, but no one bit the bullet at 50, and we actually accepted an offer at £30. So we sold it for 30 plus shipping, and I think these went to I think it was like £10 shipping on them, and I think they went to like Norway. I think it was Norway, but yeah, Hein Garrick, very good brand to look out for, a very popular motorbike like safety brand, especially if you find, like I said, materials like Gore-Tex. Like, it will say on the inside what it has. So these are the technologies that were used in this pair of trousers. So the Shell-Tex membrane and then the Hyprotec, but there was no sign of Gore-Tex, unfortunately, which is a shame. But from £3 to 30, it's still a good pickup. More German neighbor clothes. No, this was a charity shop pickup, sellers. So pretty pleased. Nadine Coleman has popped in. Kolkman, is it Nadine? Thank you for popping in. Appreciate it. Let's move on. This is another sale that I have shared in the Friday chat, but again, not everyone may have seen that, so worth sharing again, because a lot of us know about the Olympus Mu 2 compact camera and a lot of people are looking out for it. But bear in mind, guys, that there's lots of compact cameras which hold good value, not just the Olympus Mu 2. And this is an example of another one. This is a Konica A4 camera. This was languishing in the bottom of a plastic tub in a car boot sale. I picked it out and paid £2 for this camera, just £2. So very happy. Paid £2, as you can see, just battery tested it. Now, this camera was made in Japan. Now, what you want to look out for with these cameras is you want a fixed lens. You don't want some, like, to know whether you're onto a gem, so to know that you're onto a Mewtwo level type, flip when it comes to these old 35mm compact cameras. First thing you want to look out for is a fixed lens. Zoom lens models don't tend to go for as much. The reason why people are paying so much money for these old cameras is they produce very good quality photographs on film, and the fixed lens is a higher quality lens than a zoom lens. And on top of it being a fixed lens, it's got a low f number. So this has got an f3.5. I believe the Mewtwo, which is now fetching about £200, you're going to be I think £200, you're going to be looking at around, I think it's an f2.8 lens on the Olympus Mewtwo, and that's why that camera fetches like £200. So I would definitely look out for fixed lens compact cameras which have got a low f number. If you see a compact camera with an APS logo on it, chances are you want to avoid that. APS was a film type that was smaller than 35mm, but the quality wasn't there. They were very entry level cameras. So if you see an APS camera, an old camera which says APS on it, chances are you want to avoid that. So you want to pick up 35mm cameras, fixed lens, low f number. So I paid £2 for this camera. It was on at £120, on sale at $95.99. We did a 20% off sale, so it went down to $95.99. It went and sold to Australia, so very pleased with this sale as well. Pete's Retro Collectible says, love a good Konica or Minolta, always worth a punt, definitely. Mandy, she's always flipping, has popped in as well. Good evening, Mandy, thank you for popping in. Ryan has popped in. Photos from these cams are super clean, says Ryan. Yes, they what are you talking about, my photographs or the photographs that you can get from these cameras? You can get really sharp photos. If you know what you're doing, you can take some immense photographs with these 35mm compact cameras. So well worth looking out for. So the trick is not to necessarily teach yourself, like sometimes people get too fixated on learning bolos. And a bolo is a great thing. Be on the lookout for specific items, but the problem with that is you need to have a very good memory. I've got a really bad memory, so I can't recall model numbers and things very easily. All right, I struggle with that. Some people are very good at remembering model numbers and can remember a ton of model numbers. So I would say that whilst that's a great technique a great thing to do if you can do it. So if you can remember lots of model numbers for different bolos, great. Remember the Konica A4, remember the Olympus Mewtwo, remember the Yashica T4, remember all these other brands that are out there in models. I struggle with that. So sometimes what's better to do than to learn a specific model is to learn why something is valuable. And I find I can remember that a lot more easily. So if you just fire a bunch of different model numbers at me, chances are I'm going to forget it. However, if you teach me why something is valuable, I can probably understand it and grasp it and therefore retain that information. So when I'm looking at compact cameras, I don't really care about the brand as such. I'm now looking for certain traits that the camera has. So is it made in Japan? Is it a 35mm camera as opposed to APS? Is it fixed lens? What's the F number? And once I can see that those kind of parameters are met, I'm pretty certain it's going to have some worth. So that's why I would say bolos are great in learning specific model numbers, but when you find out that certain product is valuable, find out why it's valuable. Like we all say, I can't believe people pay 200 quid for these old cameras. You know, find out why they pay that much, understand it, and you're going to be much better off, because then you're going to pick up deals that others aren't as well. So that's what I would suggest. Going back to the thing, going back to the screen share. Right. Shazad has popped in as well. Reselling Polly has popped in as well. Thank you for popping in, guys. Darren K, I do appreciate it. Thank you for popping in, guys. It's very much appreciated. Both, but the 35mm is super clean for old cams, says Ryan. Yes, it is. Thrifty Treasures has popped in. Hi there, thank you for popping in. Death Piles as well. Shazad as well. Lisa asks, Z is going grey. I've been going grey since my 20s. Lisa, I've been going grey for since my 20s. I'm keeping it. It reminds me of Fabrizio Ravanelli. I don't mind, and I want to lose weight and I can be like Pirlo. He's got like really awesome hair as well. Andrea Pirlo, he's like the best. Don't worry, it's in the post. I won't use Just for Men. Joan says good tips, it stays in the memory. And Deal City says, damn, that's some solid helpful knowledge. GG. Oh, okay, I've just changed my thing. Hold on. What have I done? There you go. All right, okay. It's always good to kind of learn why something is valuable, is what I'm saying, because then you're likely to remember it and you can apply the knowledge you've gained and see whether what you're looking at out there matches what the market wants. So the market wants these features and that's why they're paying for it. All right, moving on. Very, very pleased to get rid of this. This thing was taking up a massive amount of room. Beck and I bought a drum kit from a car boot sale for £50. It was a very good buy because we made profit by just selling the cymbals and the stands that came with the drum kit. Someone came along and paid us a tenner for the drum stands we'd stuck on an auction with Local Collection because they were quite heavy. Someone paid us like a tenner for those. We sold the cymbals for good profit. I think they must have made us over 120 odd pounds in sales. And then we sold the snare drum for about 50. And then we have then sold this blue floor bass drum. And again, the drums are one of those things that you'll see on eBay, the very same drums selling for a lot less money because it's a big bulky item. Not everybody. I can't believe, I think I may have sent it with those. I think I sent it with those towels inside, so it's a bit gross. I should have taken those out. Now this drum, you will see these drums go for very cheap on eBay because sometimes people just stick them on auction, collection only. They don't want the hassle of shipping them, and they just stick them on auction and they don't get their true value. You'll see these drums go for less than half what we've gotten here. We had this drum up at $129.99, on the sale down to $103.99, and we accepted an offer at £80 for this drum plus shipping. The shipping was like 20 odd pounds or something because obviously it's a big item. There's £10 there actually, £10 there. But it's well worth shipping out bulky items if you can. George Ross, as a lot of you will know, is a big fan of shipping bulky shaped items, ships furniture and all sorts. And there's a reason for that. Is because it puts you into a market which is going to have less competition. You're going to be able to charge more money. Like we have gotten significantly more money on this drum than a lot of people will achieve who are just doing a local collection. So we took £80 for it, and it plus the shipping, and it went. And like I said, you can go on to eBay now, type in vintage pearl export floor bass drum, and you'll see them selling for a lot less when they're being sold at auction. People have sold kits probably for like £80. So yeah, something to bear in mind. Pommy Pickers, RJ has popped in as well. Thank you for popping in, Rod. Thanks for popping in, RJ. And Shazad says he got his first grey hair at the age of 16. Wow, that's pretty young. I think I was similar actually, Shazad. I think I started to go grey around 16 to 18. Only a few strands, but now it's pretty, yeah, like there's some greyage there. God, I'm so chubby. Right. Oh, and George is in the chat as well. So it says, "Hey Z, hi George." Yeah, shout out to George. Definitely worth checking out his video. He's done a video on packing bulky items as well. So be sure to check that out because it's very useful. A lot of people shy away from shipping bulky items, and you really are doing yourself a little bit of a disservice when you see it's more about being prepared, having the right stuff available to ship big items. There we go. Shazad, proud to now be blind, says she's away, is flipping. Okay, well, fair enough. Be right back getting coffee, no worries. Still no clothes, Z. I know I've sold some clothes, Pleasant Valley. I've sold some. I've shared some clothes sales. Would it be worth shipping these off to eBay to resell? No. No, they I don't think it would. I think the charge would be quite high. You look slimmer without your beard, he says, Joan Arth. Okay. And George says, top tip, don't try and pack large items while live on YouTube. Yeah, that could definitely turn out to be messy. Moving on to another bulky item, actually. This is a vintage Singer electric sewing machine made in Italy. Paid, I believe I paid £12 for this machine. And it was a bit yellowed, the plastic had yellowed through age, but it's still good working order, made in Italy, solid build quality. And again, this is an item that has sold. If you type in Singer 6105, you will see some of these. That have sold for a lot less than what we've sold it for, a lot less. So it's very kind of, again, it's an example of being willing to ship the item and being willing to price it and hold out, I suppose. But this didn't take too long to shift. It was on at $59.99, down to $48 in the 20% off sale, and we accepted an offer of £40, and it's gone. And from £12, that's pretty good. Sniping, says Shazad, not shipping. Yeah, I mean, there are items that I would snipe, but bulky items I'd avoid if I can. I'd rather snipe easy items to deal with. These are still more of a pain to deal with, but you can do it, definitely. Next item is a men's F&F 100% cashmere V-neck jumper. I think I paid like £3 or £4 for this jumper, something along those lines. I was really pleased when I found it because it's 100% cashmere, even though it's F&F. It was priced at £30 for a fair old time. In the end, we accepted an offer of £18 plus shipping, and we were pleased to see it go, really. Even though it's cashmere, it is only an F&F jumper, so the brand will probably not get it that much cachet, I suppose, and we accepted £18, so pretty pleased. This is a charity shop pickup. I should say what this is. This is a Canon MV700 mini DV compact digital camcorder. So we paid 15 or 10, I can't remember. I think it was 10 or 15 pounds for this camcorder. We'll go on 15 just to play it safe, but I think it was actually 10. So it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 10, but we'll call it 15 anyway because it's still a good flip. So this is a mini DV camcorder. Mini DV was a digital format which recorded on 480 lines of resolution. Just to give you an example, most HD camcorders and most of all of your mobile phones nowadays will be recording at 1080 lines, like 1080p, so 1080 lines of resolution. This DV camcorder, even though this was digital and this was top quality tech in its day, only records at 480 lines of resolution. And worse than that, once you'd recorded a movie onto one of the little tapes, when you were to transfer this onto your computer using a FireWire cable, it was done in real time. So that means if you had shot 50 minutes of footage, you would connect the camcorder to your camera, press the play button on your capture software, and this would then play the tape for 50 minutes and then capture the 50 minutes of footage, and then you would have this massive file on your old computer that you'd be editing to make your movies. So very cumbersome when you think about nowadays you can film in 1080p on your phone and you can edit and upload everything on your phone. So it's incredible how far technology has come. But believe it or not, mini DV camcorders can still hold some good value. So we paid 10 or 15 pounds. I think it was 10, but we're going to go with 15. So close up of the camera there. I showed it actually playing a tape just to show like it working. There you can see the display. The LCD display is not the highest quality, but that's to be expected. I showed a photo of the bottom of the camcorder open where you insert and eject the DV tapes. It didn't have a firewire cable with it. The other word, firewire, is actually the wrong word. If you sell one of these, I would avoid using the word firewire because firewire is an Apple proprietary name. And if you use firewire in your titles, there is a chance Apple could come after you and get your listing taken down. I believe Rally Roots were actually given a ban on their eBay store because they used the term Thunderbolt, because I think that's a connection. So it's very important that you bear that in mind. Try to avoid using proprietary terms. So instead of using the word firewire, even though it's a common term used for how these old camcorders connected to computers, most people call it a DV connection, or the actual name is IEEE 1394, which is ridiculous. Anyway, we paid 10 or 15. We actually accepted an offer. It was up at $69.99 plus shipping. We got an offer for £60, so I was pretty pleased to accept £60. So we either went from 15 to 60 or we went from 10 to 60. I'm not sure what it is. Right. Okay. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Nice fine there, Z, says Mandy. Lisa's back. Joan says, nice fine, thank you. RJ says, MV Canon still get good prices if you can get ones working. Nice sell, buddy. Thanks, RJ. Richard Payne says, I sell the tapes for those. I have hundreds of them. And Kelsey Reselling Louis says, Andrew is live now. Z, your views are going to go down. That's fair enough. The internet is everybody's. There's more than enough bandwidth on the YouTube servers to hold many streams. I've got loads of VHSC, says Pizza Retro Collectibles. Slow sales on them. VHSC is going to be a slow seller. But yeah, DV is hotter. And Darren K says I should get a notification when Andrew is not live. Nathan Percy, hi Nathan, says I love selling camcorders. However, they always seem to go abroad, which isn't a bad thing. Just the risk of it getting knocked about and the rubber band coming off inside. Good point. And luckily that's something that you can control, Nathan. Obviously, if you just ensure that you pack it and suspend it in the packaging as best you can. Touch wood, you're right. A lot of you're right. A lot of these camcorders will go abroad. A lot of them will find themselves in other countries. Worth also pointing out in the title. Let me just go back. I did actually put in the title PAL. It's not as relevant now, but it's important that you put the PAL in the title. It's not relevant nowadays because most TVs can display PAL signals, NTSC signals. It's kind of old news that. However, if you're selling this camcorder to someone abroad who's buying it because they've got nostalgia and they've dug out their old home movies that's still on mini DV and they want to watch them back on the big TV through the camcorder, that's where you may get issues. Because obviously if they've recorded their tapes in like a PAL C-Cam maybe, or maybe they've recorded it in the PAL format. I think it was PAL I and PAL BG where one of them where the audio won't work, or if they record it in NTSC, then you may have issues. So it's always worth putting what region the camera was originally sold in. So it's worth putting that out there. I'm watching both, Louis, says Richard Payne. Ooh, 2-time. How much do you pay for it? I paid 15 or 10 Billy B, and we sold it for 60. What do you use for your photo backgrounds here? I use a vinyl sheet. I actually had a really high quality one, which unfortunately kind of I destroyed it in the move, and I was a bit free with it. I messed it up. There was actually a really high quality one that came on this big roll. It's actually for photography studios, and it was white on one side, but a really nice white color, really nice photo background, and on the other side it was gray, so you could use it for two things. But yeah, well worth looking out for those. But any vinyl background, this is actually a cheapy little vinyl background. You can almost make out a crease in it. It's not a very good background. I would actually recommend the other one. It's more expensive for that big roll that I bought, but still. Okay, moving on, guys, because we're down to the last 3 items, and then we can all go over and watch Andrew. Any other questions? Great channel, not my niche, but very informative, says Carl Young. Oh, thanks, Carl. I appreciate the compliment. That means a lot. Great sale, though. Always a good seller, says Nathan. Thanks, Nathan. This is also worth looking out for if you can get them cheap enough. Prices have dropped on these recently, guys, so be careful. But DAB radios. So this is a DAB radio by Pure. Pure is a good brand to look out for when you're buying DAB radios. Pure and Roberts are the 2 brands I would recommend you look out for, because not all DAB radios are created equal. There's a lot of cheap brands which are not worth much. There's a lot of supermarket brands which are not worth much. You can buy brand new DAB alarm clock radios for about 15-20 quid nowadays. DAB, by the way, is digital audio broadcasting, so digital radio. A couple years back they were worth a lot more money because they were more expensive. Now you'll find that prices on a lot of DAB stuff has dropped a little bit, but this was a good buy because it was cheap. We paid £3 for this. This is a Pure Siesta, I believe it's called. Yeah, Siesta Me Series 2 digital radio. So you can see I took photos of the top of it, took photos of the underneath. The reason why I take photos of the underneath, by the way, guys, is you get your serial number photograph. So if you have any issues and you get a return, you can confirm that the returned item is the same one that you sent out because you can match the serial numbers up. So it's worth doing. And plus, as many photos as possible, because that way you don't have to explain the condition in as much detail. As they say, like a picture tells like a thousand words or whatever. You can see this radio even had its strip across its LCD screen. Now, if I had been a very good seller, what I would have done is one of these photos, I would have had this plugged in, showing the display, showing the radio working. So that was a big mistake by myself, and I think it probably meant that this took longer to sell than it would have done. It would have taken 5 minutes to have plugged this in and taken a photograph of it functioning. Digital radios look good when they are powered on because you get all kinds of information. You get the name of the radio station. Sometimes you get a scrolling feed telling you the name of the current artist that's playing, if it's a music station or whatever, and it just shows the buyer that what they're buying definitely works. This is a bit dumb of me. It took a little longer to sell because of it. We priced it at £20 plus shipping. We actually got an offer of, I think it was £16.50 or something like that, so that it made it like 20 quid in total, and we accepted that because we paid £3 for it. It was hanging around for a while, and so we were pleased to get rid. Also known as a pop-up banner material, says Dave. Oh, okay. Billy B says, I can't go and watch Andrew's. Okay, Billy, everyone's got their own opinions. Joan says, I've got a couple of DAB radios to list. Not sold them before, but they're Roberts ones. You will do well with those, Joan. Roberts DAB radios you will have no issues with. They're very easy to test. I would suggest you quickly Google your model number and the words factory reset, and hopefully it will tell you Hopefully it will tell you how to do a factory reset, because if you do a factory reset on it, it will be like a combination of buttons. It will then do like a full scan for you, because sometimes people buy radios and they think they don't work because they get the DAB radio home and it's got all of the radio stations already stored. But when they choose a radio station, it says no signal. And they go to the next one, it says no signal. And they sometimes wrongly assume that the radio they've purchased is faulty. That's not the case. What it is when you move the radio far enough, it will need to be fully, it'll need to do what's called like a full scan. So it can scan so it can scan from your nearest digital radio transmitter. And once it's done a full scan, it will find all the available stations in your area. And then it will work fine, just so you know. And a photo when it's on, I'd never have thought of that, says Joan. Yeah, it's worth doing. It would sell it a lot quicker. Shazad says pure highway 600 in-car radio, adapt to Bluetooth hands-free. Cool. Seller has sold 45,000 in the last 31 days, says Shazad. That is Shazad and his newfound addiction of Terapeak. For those of you that don't know, Terapeak is now available as part of your eBay shop subscription, and Shazad uses it really well. You get some crazy info out there. Julie says, I have an old Wartime Roberts Valve radio to list. Oh, wow. It's the original to the now remakes. Julie, that is fantastic. Those can be worth some good money, especially if they're in good condition, if they've got the original insides. And Valve radios sound fantastic. They really do. They've got that Valve amplification just has a nice warmth to it. So anyway, moving on to the next item, guys. You need to do more how videos on tech, says South London Reseller. Thanks for the suggestion. I will endeavor to do that. I do want to. I do love tech, as you guys know. I do love it. I will do more. I will do more, South London Reseller. Next item. This is a user manual for a TIAC DX2A. Basically, it's a user manual for an old noise reduction unit. So this is a bit of hi-fi that would have connected to a 4-track to reduce noise when you were recording. It's a noise reduction unit, basically. And this is the owner's manual. And it's sold, and it's going to Czechoslovakia. We paid nothing. I think this came as like a freebie. We bought a big job lot of electronics a good couple of years ago, and as part of that, we got thrown in a bunch of user manuals, service manuals, dealer manuals, which we only just recently listed, and they've been selling quite steadily, bar the last week where we sold nothing. But this one sold for 20 quid plus shipping, and it's on its way to Czechoslovakia. So pretty pleased with that. And we're on to the final sale, and then I'll take a few questions. If you guys have got any comments or questions, please put them in the chat and we can have a little chat before I go off. And I'll move on to the last item. This is actually quite a nice little pickup. Paid £2 for these Clark's Artisan Honeycomb lace-up shoes. Rebecca actually picked these out of, there's a Bernardo's in Preston, which has got bins where you literally root through bins of shoes and clothes. It's where I found the Maggot, actually. But anyway, this pair of shoes was in one of the bins on one of our trips recently. Beck picked these out. They were only £2. Absolutely gobsmacking shoes when you look at them, actually. They're only Clark's, but just look at these shoes. I mean, they're kind of crazy. They're just insane. They're the most amazing shoes I've seen. The women's UK size 7, made in Vietnam, nothing spectacular there, but the honeycomb design on them is just, I mean, those are just out of this world, aren't they? Absolutely out of this world. They actually had like a nice little Clark stitched label there, you can see as well. Absolutely insane. They're not made from old golf balls, BCP, but that's quite funny. Right. Let's go into the chat. I always reset them. Same with Freeview boxes, says Richard Payne. Yeah. And Dave has put a really good bit of advice there. Yeah. Be careful when packing valves. yeah, ideally you want to remove any valves, but in the radio situation, you maybe could fill it with some kind of padding so it doesn't move around, so it's not like got any chance of shaking free. Yeah, I sold an old 70s Grundig faulty, not working for parts radio for £30 as RJ, fantastic. George says, I love a vintage instruction manual sale. You're in the minority, George, but I appreciate it. Fugly, they're definitely some interesting shoes. The number from Golf Balls. Imagine walking out of the house with those trotters on, says Nathan. Well, someone did and really liked them. We had them up for a while at £30. When I say a while, I'm talking over a month. They're actually Clark's Artisan is the range. So Clark's have like an artisan range. So we just call them honeycomb lace-up shoes, UK7. In the end, admittedly, we've accepted an offer of half this because we didn't know when we'd next get any interest in these shoes. So we accepted £15 plus shipping, but we only paid £2 for them. So from 2 to 15, it's still a respectable sale. And they haven't hung around for too long. But yeah, because they're so unique in their style and design, we didn't necessarily want to wait for the right person because the right person might take a long time. And even though they're not big, we look at this pair of shoes and we think we could probably fit like 100 RC parts in the space that a pair of shoes is going to take up. At least 100 RC parts, like stacking them, you could fit a lot of RC parts in the space of a pair of shoes. So we were just thinking we don't want to use that space any longer for these special honeycomb shoes. And so that's how it went. Let's just go back. Order a new one, says they're ridiculous shoes. Wasps following you down the street, says Carl. Well, that would be quite funny. Mate, if my mother tried walking into my gaff with them on, I'd send her home, says Nathan. Nathan, that's very eloquently put. I detect a bit of southeast London there, maybe. Or maybe Essex, I don't know. I don't want to offend though, Nathan, but yeah, just the way it read, if my mother tried walking into my gaff with them on, I'd send her home. Very well put. I do appreciate it, Nathan. Karen has popped in. Hi, Karen. Hello, Z. How's you? No notification. Sounds like sales are still fab. What are these buyers you talk of? Karen, don't jump the gun. Sales have been terrible for the past 7 days. We've just started to sputter into life over the past couple of days, and these are just sales from June because we haven't done a sales video since I think 2 weeks. So these are just sales that have happened in the 2 weeks. So yeah, there we go. Okay. Just think though, someone out there went into Clark's, got them fitted and paid retail for those. Yes, they did. And Nathan says, George strikes me as a bloke who secretly wear them around charity shops. And Nathan is from Gloucester. Okay, I stand severely corrected. Nathan's from Gloucester. But you put it in a way that I could relate to, a very kind of Londonish way that sounded to me. It's just how it came across to me. But yeah, thank you for the comments. I do appreciate the comments. I do appreciate you guys dropping in. I'm not going to keep you guys too long. Like I said, it is a sales video. Decided to do it live because you get a little bit of interaction, which is nice. And I have not done a sales video for a couple of weeks. Did you like the picture of the office, says Shazad? Did I? I don't know. Okay, forgive me, Shazad, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. Did you like the picture of the office? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Shazad. Am I missing something? Have you messaged me? I haven't seen it or something. Z measures everything in RC parts now. Question Z, how many RC parts in 5 litres of oil? I don't know. On that note, I'm going to call it a night, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment saying that you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate that. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.